I hope my classes know that I always put the needs of individual children first. We all have difficult lives and we can't help these spilling over into the classroom sometimes, so there's often a good reason when children are late. I have a simple rule. I expect latecomers to apologise for holding things up, and I expect a proper explanation. It's only good manners, really. I try to be a good role model for them on this. Then they can fill in a late slip and we can all get on with the lesson. It's all part of the school routine.
Sally, you know what you're supposed to do when you're late? Sally, don't you think we all deserve an explanation? Right, so, quick as you can, why are you late? Oh, and you should sign a late slip as well. Addie, could you get one from my box, please?
Please, miss. I think Sally's a bit upset, miss.
Well, she could still apologise for disrupting the class.
She's been having problems at home, I think.
Oh, my goodness me. I'm so sorry, Sally. Look, let's leave it for now, shall we? And let's get back to yes, we were revising the angles of a triangle. So let's go back on that. So when we have an equilateral triangle, all the angles will be equal. And as we know, the sum of the angles is 180 degrees. So this angle will be... I know, why don't you all work it out and write it down on your whiteboards?
Oh dear. How am I supposed to know everything going on in a pupil's life as well as trying to teach maths? I wasn't to know that Sally had been having problems. I wish I hadn't been put in this position. Why has no one told me? I tried to be nice to her, but when she came in, she just didn't say anything.
Sally arrived late for the lesson, but at a point when task had not yet been set. She looked upset and headed straight for her seat. Kath appeared to be disappointed that Sally had not apologised or given a reason for her lateness. She reminded her that she ought to know the school routine for settling late arrivals, filling in a late slip, and expressed her own expectation that it is good manners for pupils to apologise and explain why they are late.
Sally, you know what you're supposed to do when you're late? Sally, don't you think we all deserve an explanation? Right, so, quick as you can, why are you late? Oh, and you should sign a late slip as well.
The late slips that Sally needed were not accessible, and Kath asked Addie to find one from her box.
Oh, Addie, could you get one from my
To
box,
support
please?
Sally, Anita tried to tell Kath discreetly that Sally was a bit upset,
Well, she could
but
still
Kath
apologise
persisted in
for
asking
disrupting
for
the
an
class.
apology.
She's been having problems at home, I think.
When Anita hinted that the reason for Sally's lateness might be something more serious or confidential, Kath became embarrassed.
I'm so sorry, Sally.
She apologised to Sally
Let's leave
and
it
quickly
for now,
returned to
shall
her
we?
teaching,
And,
trying to
let's
remember
get
where
back
she had
to
been before the interruption.
Yes, we were
And Anita
revising
took
the
care
angles
of Sally.
triangle. So let's go back on that.
Kath seemed nervous and indecisive
So when we
about
have
how
an
the lesson should
equilateral
proceed.
triangle,
She had
all
lost the attention of
angles
the class by this
will
time,
be equal.
but continued
And
as
we
if
know the
everyone
sum of
was
the
listening.
angles is 180 degrees.
Her question to the
So
class
this angle will be...
received no response,
I know, why don't you
so she
all
changed the
work it out
question
and
into a
write it down
request
on
for
your
pupils to
whiteboards?
write down their answers on the whiteboards. Some pupils responded to this request, but others continued to talk to each other and ignored Kath's request. Her worried and embarrassed expression indicated that she felt that she had handled this situation badly and was maybe unsure about how she would follow it up.
I've encouraged staff to be vigilant about lateness to lessons. They all agree that arriving on time is essential in getting lessons off to a pacey start. We also agree that we should encourage punctuality by acknowledging it. For example, with brief statements such as, "Nice to see most people are here on time, well done," and to reward pupils who arrive on time rather than imposing sanctions on those who are late. This has been found to be effective in most cases. Staff realise that punctuality is an issue for them as well as for pupils. By arriving promptly for lessons themselves and ensuring that pupils are dismissed in good time to get to their next lessons, they present good role models to pupils.
Sally, don't you think
Our
we'll
policy
deserve an
states that
explanation?
pupils should enter the room,
Right.
fill in a late slip, and then settle down in their allotted place.
Oh, and you should sign a late slip as well. Addie, could you get one from my box, please?
It is difficult for pupils to follow this routine if the late slips are not available. By being just a little bit more organised, Kath could have smoothed Sally's entry into the classroom. Having a seating plan is very useful. Latecomers know that staff will make sure that they can participate fully in the lesson as soon as possible. Kath feels that it's important that pupils apologise for their lateness.
Sally?
In most cases, a quick apology is given without difficulty.
Sally, don't you think we all deserve an explanation? Right. So, because you can, why are you late?
Kath is attempting to put her routine into operation here, but is failing to pick up on the fact that Sally is quite upset and not able to apologise or answer further questions. I like to think that we are flexible in our routines and policies so that we can meet the needs of individuals.
I think Sally's a bit upset, miss.
Well, she could still apologise for disrupting the class.
She's been having problems at home, I think.
Oh, my goodness me. I'm so sorry, Sally. Look...
In this instance, Kath realised too late how upset Sally was and felt the need to apologise to her. Her apology was appreciated not only by Sally, but by other pupils who heard it. Some staff can find it difficult to apologise to pupils when they've made a mistake, but Kath uses this skill well as part of her relationship-building repertoire.
Managing interruptions in an effective way can be crucial to the pace of the lesson and quality of the learning. It is important to have a plan for dealing with distractions that doesn't allow pupils to think that the distraction is more important than the learning. During this interruption, while Kath was talking to Sally and Anita, the rest of the class became increasingly disengaged. The lesson had already been interrupted by the whiteboards being given out. By the time Kath was ready to continue with the lesson, most pupils, and even Kath, had forgotten where the lesson had been left and were unable to continue with their learning. The background buzz of chatter had risen so much that Kath's instructions and questions were ignored. Kath tried to continue with the lesson despite not having the attention of the class. This sent out a strong message that what she had to say was not important enough for pupils to hear. I would suggest that Kath thinks about more detailed lesson planning, including planning for managing interruptions and other unexpected events. She can lose track of the direction the learning is taking and what the pupil's responses should be. A structured, well-planned lesson with clear routines established would allow Kath the flexibility to deal with any unexpected situations without losing pace and direction.